for my wonderful Tellview lovers. How you all doing? Today I'm doing a bit of a unique video. I mean, don't really need to say it, do I? You saw the title, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. Hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully my list isn't too controversial. Okay, so I know this is going to make a lot of you angry, but this is the ride at number 5. So you may come up with the argument that, you know, this ride is creative and all stuff, and I can agree on that. In fact, this is one of the most creative rides in the park, or scenery-wise at least. But that's all the ride gives to you, really. And it may just be because I'm quite old, kind of, but I know this ride kind of comes across as boring. If you don't know what this ride is, I will try and link a video in the description. I've not done that before, so it may be a little hard work. Or if I can't do that, you can just type the name of the ride down here. I'll put it down here. And I know it just kind of comes across as boring, and the only part that's even somewhat thrilling, or at least somewhat challenges the kids, is the little gold mine part with the tracks kind of going a little sideways, but that's not really much, can't really save it. I would go on it if I had to, but not the happiest decision. So this is going to make a lot of people angry. I know it is, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It's just my list. It's my list. I can do what I want to do. And this ride, it's just, it feels weird. It feels really weird. No, not weird. It's kind of just childish, isn't it? A bit babyish, childish, and I know that's what the ride is going for, like babies and toddlers, and maybe even infants. And no, I don't just hate this ride because it's pink. I have a few other reasons too. Now, all the time I go on it with my sister, I just feel humiliated. Not just because it's pink, it's just like a baby ride and people are just going to see my stupid, ugly, bored face. And I know, it's just kind of embarrassing. And the music sounds like it was made from the 80s. Like, the audio of it sounds like it was made from the 80s under the sea, and it probably was, or at least from the 80s. And, what other stuff could I say about this ride? It's kind of just boring, and I always seem to slip around all the time I go on it, but not in a fun way. No, not in the fun, the spinning dragon ride way, not like that. Kind of just more boring way, and I don't really like it. Okay, so now we have Viking boats. So, the reason I don't like this one is quite simple, and so I kind of have to keep it brief on this one. Really, the problem with this is just the fact that it's just boring. And I'm making that criticism about all the rides which may make me boring, and that's right. I've taken some of these images from Google, so don't be angry, alright? But, right, sorry about that, but, you know, I suppose Viking boats has good scenery, and, like, good colours, like, the little Viking dragons, are they? I don't know. If they are, they look rather weird. But you know, it looks good. It looks good. And the music on this ride doesn't feel as screeched as the one on Flying Wonders. And what I mean by screeched is like, so it doesn't sound like you have background going on behind it, or not really that, kind of just, I know, playing the music while, like, scraping your speaker on dirt. I don't know, and I suppose it has water. Obviously, the most bland thing you could possibly add onto it, even though it comes across as quite cool, and one time I was on this ride without the water, and it actually made it a bit more fun, because it actually looked like we were floating around. Still doesn't make it fun though, I'm sorry, it's just too boring for me. Alright, so, type your angry comment please, but the whip is probably one that you wouldn't have seen coming on this list. I know, it's a bit surprising. But before I talk about it, we're gonna have a little tea break. I don't want to bore you guys, so only drink half of it for now. I'm talking over my
Sorry
burp. About that, guys. I should have warned you. I might have to take it out in the video. Sorry. But, I know, just, the whip is just, it wouldn't be so bad if sliding around in it wasn't so painful and gave you, like, hip pain, back pain. It's just, it's not good for me. I mean, come on, it's not good for me. And it comes across as so bad that my favourite part of the ride is just sitting on the seats, just staying still. But even still, I'm worried about it starting or finishing. That'd be good. And you know, so basically, the whip is like this little oval thing, and like on the turns you take, like they could be calm because this ride is aiming for the little ones. Well, do you want to know what it does? It doesn't just take a little slide, maybe like a roller coaster. It does this. And what? You should not be doing that with kids. Right. Okay, you may not see it on the video, since you can only see the image, but basically it just takes a really sharp turn. Like, I'm talking, like, say if you're on a roller coaster, and you wanted some thrill, but it starts off slow, and once you go to that little, like, really turny bit, it starts sprinting. You should not be doing that with a baby's ride. It's not going to be more enjoyable for the babies. It's going to give the babies pain, and I'm surprised I haven't seen a baby cry from this. Because honestly, I'm all the time I go on this ride, I leave nearly in tears. Not a good ride. It wouldn't have been so bad if it didn't hurt so much. The blue water slide is one that I can't quite put on the list. I only put this here because it's my least favourite blue bound ride. But I still like it. It's just that, I don't know, it's kind of useless in a way, I suppose. Because, like, say with the green one, the green water slide, which is right near it, it literally soaks you up, and it almost gives you hypothermia, but you know what, it's worth it, it's fun. With the blue one, you know, maybe a little sprinkle, which can feel nice on some days, but just, you want the thrilling feel of a water slide, and unlike the green slide, which is also unique, because with the green one, probably because it's a tube, it looks like you're in the back rooms, and I think that's really cool. But with this blue one, it's just kind of simple. Fireball is one that, just like Blue Waterside, I can't quite put on the list. Now, it's not that bad, but the problem with this one is, I mean, it is a bit childish, I suppose, but that's not the problem with this one. The problem with this one is the fact that it takes so long to move that it's literally probably the ride I haven't been on for the longest time. It's probably been since, like, only right after lockdown. So, like, I don't hate it, it's just, I don't want to waste 40 minutes of my time. But now, Adventureville was one that I certainly should have put on the list. Adventureville would probably be like 1.5. Because it really is, like, probably the most boring ride, only beaten by, of course, the number one. And, I don't know, Adventureville, it's like, what can I say that's good about it? It's literally just going in a circle really slowly, and it takes like 2 minutes to finish. It's like wasting 2 minutes of your time. Like, at least with Fireball, the wasting 40 minutes of your time, you have like that free 2-minute break of like going around in circles, which I suppose kind of saves it. But with Adventureville, they don't even try. And I'm pretty sure this ride was made pretty recently. I think it was only like a few years ago, like 2019, 18. And like, that's an even bigger problem, because like you'd think the rides that just go in simple circles would be made from like the 80s or something, or onwards back. But no, like, it feels that recently the park has a problem. No, I don't, but I just can't go on this Adventureville ride without feeling uncomfortable. Kiddie Coaster it's actually not bad. It's probably one of my favourite rides for the little ones, like aimed at the little ones, but even the greatest of those rides they can't reach the standards of the other 4 roller coasters. Like, I'd still put Kiddie Coaster as the number 5 on the roller coaster list, because it is still like the weakest one. Because Kiddie Coaster just feels forceless, and it's not really bad. Like, it's just that, and I suppose it has some plus points because it is aimed for babies or toddlers, and they will probably like it. So I do have to add a few plus points to that. But as a practically teenager, I am not really enjoying this ride. Like, all the time I just want something good, something fast, something good and like turny in a good way, not like the whip. It does nothing, and it doesn't really leave a good taste in your mouth. So, hate me or not, you might do now, because Skateboarder to me is just a rubbish version of Rambazamba. Now, you might be saying, Tailboo, what do you mean? Like, a Skateboarder's like pretty much the same as Rambazamba, so don't be a dum-dum. It's not the same as Rambazamba, because I know it's aimed at, what is it, like, so you have 3 band rides, and I think this one is aimed like right in the middle. So like for like little ones and older ones, or like maybe like say 4, 5, like 4 to 6, I think. And just like Kiddie Coaster, I want some force, but it just does nothing. It just spins you around with music playing, in which I don't think the people have cleaned the speakers since the ride was made. So, just can't really go on this ride without feeling. I mean, it's kind of fun, but mostly it's just a boring, and it's even more tasteless because was it made before or after Rambazamba? I'm not sure. It must have been after, because the only thing that skateboarder beats Rambazamba in is, I suppose, the queues aren't as long. But last time I was here, the Rambazamba queues were the shortest ones in the park. They were like cow jump queues. So that was amazing. Now, this is just a travesty. Lots of people hate Rambazamba. It is the most, possibly the most underrated. Can I say underrated ride in the park? I know, because it's still one of the most. Still one of the most popular, but it's one of the most famous ones. Famous for making people dizzy, making people sick, making people cry. It's just a simple disc though, and I think it's actually really cool. And last time I was on here, I was on this ride and someone actually cried on the ride, and I suppose it was this person's first time of Rambazamba, but I didn't cry on my first time on Rambazamba back in 2019. I got on it with my grandpa, and my grandpa got a bigger reaction, so that's good for me. If I had to think of one way to be harsh on Rambazamba, I'd say the only bad thing is, like, you know that little thing at the back, like the little black thing that kind of pumps onto you so you can't fall out, and it kind of just comes across as uncomfortable, and it's like you can't breathe as much as usual, but you don't really notice that while on the ride, so it's not really that much of a problem, and I still like this ride quite a lot. That's right. Magic Monsters is the worst. I think this is quite a suitable place for it too. I mean, so this ride I feel like has no reason to exist, and probably one of the worst rides I've been on in my life. Because it's just, you have nothing to do, and mean nothing. So it's basically, I'm going to think of purposes for the other worst rides we've talked about on the list. So with number 5 and number 4, they have a purpose. Number 5 is creative in scenery will make babies and toddlers happy. Number 4, the number 4 ride, at least has something going on, like imaginative for the little ones, which is good. And what was that? Viking boats is quite cool. And I know people age of 8, I think, 8 or 9, learn about Vikings, or at least they did in my school. But and you can learn, like, it's quite a cool thing to quite cool stuff. So it has a purpose, and the whip's purpose is, I suppose, to hurt people's hips back and give you lots of pain. I suppose that's still kind of a purpose. And I mean, Choo-Chooville, I mean, it has almost no purpose apart from located in a bit of a strange place, which is cool. But Magic Monsters, like, what does it have to offer? Like, what does it have to offer? I want you to try and make an argument with me and give me some good points on what Magic Monsters has to offer, because it has nothing to offer to me. It's like Choo-Chooville, but somehow a smaller circle and smaller space, as if Choo-Chooville didn't do that badly enough. And Magic Monsters just feels uncomfortable from start to finish. Because you have no room, because I actually had to go on this with my 5-year-old sister Eliza. And she still finds it fun. She's a green band rider now. And I think even like a 5-year-old would be like dying on this ride, but apparently not. This may just be me and Joshua, or Boo. We may be the only two that hate this ride, but I can't go on this ride without feeling uncomfortable, bored, annoyed, demotivated to be at the park. That's right. And I need to think of a 5th reason. And it's almost like it's a tease, because this ride is located literally like a metre away from this little thing called Candy Cottage with like, candy floss or cotton candy and popcorn and stuff like that, maybe even ice creams, I think. And so it's almost like the park's tricking the younger ones, like going in a boring loop, just waiting to like eat some candy floss or ice cream or donuts too. Like they are gonna go right to it, lick the candy floss, which I suppose some people do. And of course they have the punishment of having to experience and ride through Magic Monsters. I honestly feel bad for you kids that have had that experience with Magic Monsters. I don't blame you for being sad or angry. I really don't. And the dinosaurs on here, like, you could have at least made the scenery good. Of course, you base it off of just dinosaurs. We've done this before multiple times with dragons. We have the Green Scream. I think he's a crocodile on Green Scream. We have the Green Scream, the Spinny Dragon Ride. We have even the Dragon's Claw is like a dragon. Because it's like the dragon's claw, the hand. Like, and probably a few others that I can't think of at the moment. Like, we've had that one before, and I know we're basing it off of dinosaurs, so it's a little bit more unique, but not really, because right near it is this little cafe, or not cafe, just kind of a fast food cafe thing called Dining Stores, and so it's not really different. And like, the park has two sides, and Magic Monsters is on the side with a lot of like dinosaur statue things, and Magic Monsters I suppose turns that into a ride, but it really is. And if you were thinking that before it came out, you probably would have been disappointed seeing what this ride turned into. I'm sorry I've been going on for a long time. Hope you enjoy your day. Bye. Just really hate Magic Monsters.